Cody reported it to the game warden, causing Eric to lose his hunting license. They remained business partners, but it was clear that their relationship was totally fractured. Corey believed that Cody had more to do with the substances than he let on. The detective told Corey that he appreciated the information and was allowed to collect all of the devices. After this conversation with Corey, the investigation fell off. When they talked to Cody, they didn't find anything worth pursuing. There was nothing for the police to operate on. While the family waited for answers, Corey focused her energy on taking care of the boys and writing her grief book. A year later, the police still had no idea what happened to Eric, but the grief book was finally done. It was posted on Amazon, and right away the book was a total hit with parents of grieving children. As more 5-star reviews poured in, so did requests for her to be interviewed on TV. Corey had no idea her book would be so successful, so at first, she was terrified to appear on any shows. Eventually, she decided to say yes to all the interviews because she was very proud of what she and her kids created. She knew that Eric would be proud too. However, what Corey didn't know was there was going to be a massive unintended consequence from publishing this book. Ever since Eric passed away, the police searched every device looking for a connection to where he got the lethal substance. At some point during the search of the devices, the police found something very unusual. They knew it very likely had to do with Eric's passing. Unfortunately, they didn't have any evidence to prove that, so they had to sit on it. Because of the media attention from Corey's book, Eric's passing also got a lot of media attention. The unsolved nature fascinated the public and tons of tips began pouring in. The general public believed that he did not overdose on that substance, he was murdered. The alleged killer from the public's perspective was the same person that the police in Utah had become suspicious of from the unusual things they found on the devices. Shortly after getting these tips, the police in Utah finally believed they had enough evidence to go after this person, and they headed out to make an arrest. Because the case is ongoing, we don't know exactly what happened, but this is what the prosecutors think happened the night of Eric's passing. That night, Eric was upstairs when he heard Corey calling for him, telling him to come down and join her. So, he went down and greeted her in the kitchen. Immediately, he saw his wife grinning ear to ear, and she promptly handed him a drink and said, "I have big news and we're going to celebrate." After that, the two of them headed upstairs, clinked their glasses, and took a sip from their cups. The drink that Corey made for both of them is called a Moscow Mule. It is made with ginger beer, vodka, and lime. But when Corey made Eric's drink, she added one additional ingredient, a lethal dose of F. It turned out that Corey had been stealing money from Eric's bank accounts, and he had found out. Eric also discovered that Corey had been taking out massive loans in their family's name, which he was really upset about. In fact, he was so upset with Corey that he wanted a divorce. Sensing that the divorce was imminent and the money faucet would be turned off, Corey took out a $2 million policy on Eric and then killed him. Then shortly after that, she wrote a grief book to help her sons cope and sold it for a profit. Police say that Corey had been working for weeks trying to figure out the right dose of F to give her husband. The story that she told first responders was also a lie. After she poisoned her husband, while he was laying there still on the bed slowly dying, she just got up and paced around the house for several hours. During that time, she was Googling things like, how to destroy electronic evidence and luxury prisons for the rich in America. These searches were the highly unusual and suspicious things that the police saw when they first looked through the devices. As much as it made them think that Corey had something to do with Eric's passing, they didn't have enough to arrest her. However, after Corey published her book and went on a huge tour promoting it, Eric's family knew Corey had something to do with it.